basically, codification, which is what I'm talking about here on the air, is about being persistent. And being persistent when you don't have a job, you be persistent about getting a job. And you talk to the people who are most likely to be able to give you one. And if no one responds, you just keep at it until that does happen. Simply because of what? According to the code, under the system of racism, if you're non-white, if you don't have a job, and the white supremacists require you to have one, then you just keep asking them for one. You don't ever stop. You do that all day, every day. If they require you to have one, because you always look at yourself like you're in prison. You're not anywhere else. You're in a world prison. And the prison rules is that everybody in the prison who is classified as non-white must work of some type, unless you're told by the white supremacists not to work. All right, in which case you won't be having a job when they're telling you that you don't work. But if they say you are required to work, then you just have to ask the prison masters for work, because you don't have any other options. There's no black person you can go to unless that black person has connections with a white person. That's what white supremacy means. There's not a black person on the planet you can go to that can help you do anything unless that black person has connections with white people who are white supremacists. Just not any white person. The white person has to be a white supremacist, because that's the only place you can get help, because the white supremacists determine what black people do on this planet. Maybe something different on some other planet, but on this planet, if a black person wants to do anything in the prison camp called the system of white supremacy, he or she is going to have to be persistent in practically sitting on the doorstep of the white supremacists and saying, what am I going to do? What do I do on your world plantation? Because I can't go anywhere without your permission and do anything. And so I'm asking you, what do I do when I don't have a job? I mean, that's self-explanatory. Or get a recommendation from anybody that they can give credibility, about her. That's what I had to do. I had a job, all right, and still have one. You always have a job under white supremacists. I have a job now. I'm doing a job right now in the system of white supremacy. The white supremacists allow me to do what I do. And it's my suspicion they allow me to do what I do because they figure I'm not effective, which, according to this conversation I'm having right now, I'm not helping this lady who's calling in a whole lot, except tell her to go to the white supremacists. Well, anybody can tell her that. See what I mean?
Yes, sir.
See, I want people to understand how powerful the people that we're dealing with. This is not a friendship thing. We're in a war. And you have to get a frame of mind that you're in a war, and ugly things are supposed to happen to you in a war. That's what I want every black person on the planet to understand. This is not a social club. This is a prison. Always go to the people you talk to last and say, well, if I can't get a recommendation from you, you know I got to survive. So who do I go and get one from if I can't get one from you? Persistence. That's all that you really have. That's all a prisoner has.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I had. I didn't have anything else. Black people, I have noticed while I've been on this planet, and because it included me, I thought that I had some type of safety net. I thought that I had some black people that could step forward and do this and do that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't really exist. See, and this is what blindsides people. Black people find out this. I found it out early, fortunately. But a lot of black people, we don't know how vulnerable we are, even when we think we have strength. And that is a mistake.
Yes.
When you think you have strength that you don't have, this is why we got so many black people that are locked up. Because they think they have strength that they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? You are totally vulnerable in this prison system called the system of white supremacy. When I say totally, I mean totally.